Millionaire leaves his safe open to trap his maid, but her reaction left him in tears, people say. Trust must be earned, but for billionaire Raymond Cole, it had always been tested. After losing millions to betrayal, he'd grown cold, believing everyone had a price. Until one morning, he decided to prove a point by leaving his $2 million safe wide open. No cameras, no guards. Only his quiet maid, Maria, an immigrant mother who'd never missed a day of work. Raymond thought it was the perfect trap. He wanted to catch her red-handed, to confirm his belief that everyone steals when tempted enough. But what Maria did instead would shake his soul, make him question everything he believed about loyalty, love, and humanity. And when he finally read her letter, his eyes filled with tears he hadn't shed in years. Raymond Cole had everything: penthouse views, luxury cars, and a reputation for being ruthless. But his heart had hardened after years of betrayal from business partners, friends, and even family. His motto was simple: never trust the help. Maria Alvarez, his maid, had been working for him for 2 years. She was quiet, humble, and always respectful. She never asked for advances, never complained, and often stayed late without extra pay. Raymond found her strange. Too perfect, he thought. One morning, while reviewing his security footage, Raymond came up with an idea. Let's see what loyalty looks like when it's tested, he muttered. He filled his safe with stacks of cash and diamond jewelry, then deliberately left it wide open. He even turned off the hidden cameras except one small lens disguised in a flower pot. He wanted proof, but more than that, he wanted justification for his distrust. Maria arrived that afternoon, as always, humming softly. She dusted, vacuumed, and wiped surfaces. When she entered the study, her eyes widened slightly. The safe door hung open. Bundles of cash glowed under the ceiling light. Raymond watched from his phone screen, smirking. Go on, take it, he whispered. Prove me right. But Maria didn't rush toward the safe. Instead, she froze, stepped back, and looked around nervously. She reached into her apron pocket, not for a bag, but for a small notepad. She wrote something down quickly, then quietly shut the safe door, locked it, and slipped the note under a paperweight on his desk. Then she left. Just as calmly as she came, Raymond frowned. What did she write? What game was this? He rushed down from his office, picked up the note, and read, Sir, I noticed your safe was open. I didn't touch anything, but I locked it for safety. Please be careful, there are bad people out there. Maria, for the first time in years, Raymond didn't know what to feel. The next day, Raymond called Maria to his office. His tone was cold, his expression unreadable. Maria, he said, did you notice anything unusual yesterday? She nodded slowly. Yes, sir. Your safe was open. I thought maybe you forgot. He leaned forward. And you didn't take anything? Her eyes widened in shock. No, sir. I would never. Raymond stared at her for a long moment, searching for a flicker of guilt, but there was none. Her sincerity was disarming. Later that evening, guilt gnawed at him. He reviewed her employment file. She lived in a small apartment in the outskirts of the city, working 2 jobs to send her son to school in Mexico. Her monthly salary barely covered rent and food, yet she hadn't touched a single bill. The next day, he decided to follow her home. From his car, he watched her stop at a bakery, buy a loaf of bread, and hand it to a homeless man outside. Then she continued to her small building, limping slightly from exhaustion. Raymond's chest tightened. How could someone with so little still give so much? That night, he couldn't sleep. He reopened the footage of the trap again and again, this time seeing not suspicion but kindness. She had protected his home, even when she could have walked away with a fortune. Tears welled in his eyes. The walls he'd built for years began to crack. The next morning, Maria arrived as usual, unaware that anything was different. But as she entered the mansion, she gasped. The entire living room was filled with boxes, groceries, clothes, and a brand new laptop. Raymond stood near the fireplace, holding an envelope. Maria, he said softly, you've been tested in a way no one should be. And you passed with more honor than most people I've ever met. She blinked, confused. Tested? I don't understand. He handed her the envelope. Inside was a check for $100,000 and a note, for your honesty, your loyalty, and your heart. You reminded me that trust isn't found, it's earned through goodness. Maria covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Sir, I can't accept this. You already have, he smiled. Because you've given me something money couldn't. Faith in humanity. Months later, Raymond sponsored Maria's son's education and helped her open her own cleaning company. She called it True Trust Services, and as Raymond stood in her new office, surrounded by smiling workers, he realized something he'd forgotten long ago. Sometimes, the richest people are the ones who never had money but never lost their heart. What would you do if someone left a fortune in front of you? Would you walk away or take the test? If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who still believes honesty has no price. Hashtag trust, hashtag humanity, hashtag emotional story, hashtag life lesson, hashtag honesty wins.